Morning, guys. For today's assignment, it's a fairly simple one. Go ahead and type up the following code here on Replit. And what we're going to do today is simply to just write out a trace table that covers this program here. All this program does is to practice a trace table. It asks you to enter the first value on line 2, and then you go ahead and enter a variable or enter a value to be stored in value 1. This is the name of our variable. What we do here from line 6 to 12 is we make comparisons within an if-else structure, and we cover a range for value 1. So depending on what number was entered into value 1, then value 2 takes on a specific number itself. If value 1 is greater than 10, then value 2 becomes whatever value 1 was times 2. Else, if value 1 is not greater than 10, and else if value 1 is less than 1, meaning either 0 or any negative number, then value 2 simply takes on the value of 0. And then finally, if both of these conditions are not met, then value 2 simply takes on whatever value is entered for value 1. So we've seen a program like this before. It's just a little bit different. Basically what this program is doing is covering a range with its conditions. Any number from 11 onwards, meaning any number that's greater than 10, and that covers the range from 11 onwards. So if I put a note here that says any number from 11 up, that's what would cause value 2 to equals whatever was entered for value 1 doubled. That's if this condition is met. On line 8, if value 1 is less than 1, meaning any number from 0 down. So that's the note here, right? So if it's 0 or any number less than 0 that was entered here as value 1, then value 2 simply takes on 0 as the number stored in value 2. And in the last part, so basically anything else, then value 2 becomes the same number as value 1. So if you think about it, we're covering ranges from 11, and let me draw it out physically. So it's 11 onwards. So that's the range covering for the first condition. The second condition is any number less than 1, so that's 0, and that's 0 downwards. That leaves only the last part, meaning else, and that means else covers this range between 0 and 11. So that means for the else to be satisfied or to be true, then we're going to be covering values from 1 to 10. Hope you guys understand what's happening here. It's fairly simple. First condition covers any numbers from 11 and up, so that means if this was greater than 10, then value 1 is multiplied by 2. If it's not greater than 10 and is in fact 0 and less, then it just becomes 0. And then finally, if value 1 is anything else which is not less than 0 or 0 itself, or greater than 11 or 11 itself, then if value 1 is 1 to 10, any of these values, then value 2 becomes the same number as value 1. So I think a good way to demonstrate this is to start entering values. So let's start with the first condition. If value 1 is greater than 10, so I'll put in 11, which is a number greater than 10. I'll press enter, and now notice that value 2 is 22, meaning value which was 11 times 2 gives you 22. Note that on line 14, regardless of the condition, we always print what value 2 is. Therefore, it is not necessary to have this print in each of these conditions. That would just be repetitive. So either way, whatever the condition, we want to print what value 2 is, right? So I'm gonna run it again. It's because I have all these notes. Let me cut that. Remove these notes. So I'm gonna run it. I'm gonna paste this back just for visually. So we did 11, but let's do a crazier number like 1000. 1000 is definitely greater than 10, and when we press enter, we get that value 2 is 2000. Keep running this by mistake. Alright. So now let's go ahead and try put a condition that's less than 1. So 0 is the number that covers the first part of that range. So we'll put 0. When I press enter, value 2 is equals to 0. But let's go ahead and try put a number that's well below 0. In this case, let's put negative. It's 12. It's not too far along, but it's still 0 because our condition states that if value 1, which is the value that we enter, is less than 1, then we just make value 2 equals to 0. So if I put a crazy outlandish number, negative 112,165,162, then value is still 0 because it covers under this condition here. Is value 1 less than 1? Yes, negative 12 million is definitely less than 1, so we set value 2 to 0. And then finally, we cover the range that covers the else, which is any number that's 1 to 10. Because we've covered every number above 10 found here, and then we've covered any number less than 1, which is 0 downwards, right? So the only allowable range would be then 1 to 10. And then if that's the case, then we just set value equals value 1, value 2 equals value 1. So if I go ahead and put 1, which is under our range covered in the else, then I press enter, then value is 1. Run it again. 2, value is 2. And then 3, 4, 5, 6 onwards, basically any number from 1 to 10 will make value 2 equals the same number because that is what we define here. So your assignment, guys, is a simple one. Type out this in Replit if you need it, right? If you don't, then go ahead, create this table here in Microsoft Word. Go ahead and paste the program in the Word file just to help you guys look at it and come up with the answers here. In this table, I already have values to be entered as value 1. So what happens to value 2 if value 1 is equals to negative 5? Well, go ahead, remember the range that I had set, and check what does negative 5 fall under in this if-else condition here. It would fall under less than 1, right? Because negative 5 is definitely less than 1. Then you go ahead and tell me what becomes of value 2 if that's the case. Alright, so it's kind of like cause and effect in a way. What happens if value 1 is 25? Well, this happens. What happens if value is 5? This happens. So you use the code as your guide. You can use the code as like a process. So what happens to value 1 after it undergoes this process? Well, value 2 becomes this. So go ahead, this is your assignment. It's a very simple one. The video today is very short, only about 10-11 minutes. So go ahead, it's 10 numbers from 5 to 25,000. make sure once you're finished with this, you upload it using the form that I'll post in a minute. So go ahead. If you don't have Word, you could write this out. It's pretty easy to just write out this table, put in the answers, and submit the picture as the file that you can upload in the Google form. Alright guys, this is the second day and it's for the entire third form. I posted one yesterday, Monday. So it's not that you have to do it now, because some classes I have today as the next day, as day 5 technically in terms of these 2 weeks, but try and get it done before April 3rd, I believe, which is technically when the Easter break would begin. So try to get it done by Friday, all of the assignments. I don't know if you've been following up on news, but they were saying that they wanted to declare a shutdown, not a shutdown, but make I say more clearly, a state of emergency on Wednesday, and they are saying 30 days, but I have yet to hear what the Prime Minister is going to present on today, which is Tuesday, March 31st, sorry. So we'll see what happens then, but for the most part, I want you guys to get the assignments done by Friday. That way you guys don't have to worry too much during the April vacations. I'm sure none of you want to be doing homework during that time, so try and get it done by this week, and I'll go ahead and start checking all the assignments during the Easter vacations. Alright, so make sure you do this table, answer it, upload it. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll be posting the last day for this week because we only meet 3 days a week. So take it easy guys. Again, stay safe as usual, listen to the news, watch the news. Encourage you guys to watch legitimate news source. Alright, don't go and believe all those rumors that you hear going about. And again, stay safe, sanitize, practice social distancing as usual. Alright guys, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.